Have you ever been left hanging, waiting for a reply that never comes? Ghosting is a term that has become increasingly common in our digital age. It refers to when someone suddenly cuts off all communication without explanation. Whether in dating, friendships, or even professional relationships, ghosting can leave us confused and hurt. In this video, we'll dive deep into why people ghost, exploring the real reasons behind this behavior. Let's start by understanding what ghosting really means and why it's so prevalent today. Ghosting isn't just about ignoring a message or two. It's a complete withdrawal from communication, often without any warning or closure. This can happen in romantic relationships, friendships, or even at work. The person being ghosted is left wondering what went wrong, replaying conversations and searching for answers. Ghosting can feel like a sudden disappearance, leaving emotional confusion in its wake. But why do people choose this route instead of simply explaining their feelings? Let's explore some of the psychological reasons behind ghosting. Technology has made it easier than ever to connect, but it's also made it easier to disconnect. With just a tap, someone can vanish from your life. Social media and messaging apps provide a sense of anonymity and distance, making it less awkward to disappear. The digital age has changed the way we communicate, often reducing accountability. This shift in communication patterns is a big reason why ghosting has become so common. But technology is just one piece of the puzzle. One of the most common reasons people ghost is a fear of confrontation. Ending a relationship or even a conversation can be uncomfortable. Many people worry about hurting the other person's feelings or facing an emotional reaction. Ghosting can feel like an easy way out, avoiding the awkwardness of saying goodbye or explaining one's feelings. However, this avoidance often leads to more confusion and pain for the person left behind. Sometimes, ghosting is a sign of emotional immaturity. People who struggle to express their feelings or handle difficult conversations may choose to disappear instead. They might not have developed the skills to communicate honestly or manage conflict. This lack of maturity can make it hard for them to face the consequences of their actions, so they opt for silence. It's important to recognize that ghosting often says more about the ghoster than the person being ghosted. Life can get overwhelming, and sometimes people ghost because they're dealing with their own stress or mental health challenges. When someone feels emotionally drained or anxious, they might withdraw from social interactions altogether. Ghosting, in this case, isn't always personal. It can be a coping mechanism. Understanding this perspective can help us be more compassionate, even if it doesn't make the experience any less painful. Another straightforward reason people ghost is simply a lack of interest. Instead of communicating that they're no longer interested, some choose to disappear. This can be especially common in the early stages of dating or new friendships. While it may seem easier for the ghoster, it leaves the other person with unanswered questions. Open communication is always better, but not everyone feels comfortable being direct. Our culture sometimes encourages ghosting, even if we don't realize it. With so many options available through dating apps and social media, people may feel less invested in individual connections. The idea that there's always someone else out there can make it easier to move on without explanation. Social conditioning can subtly reinforce the idea that disappearing is acceptable, even if it's hurtful. Being ghosted can be a painful experience. It often leads to self-doubt, confusion, and even anxiety. The lack of closure can make it hard to move on, as people replay conversations and wonder what went wrong. It's important to remember that being ghosted is not a reflection of your worth. The decision to ghost usually says more about the other person's struggles or limitations than about you. Coping with ghosting isn't easy, but there are ways to heal. Start by acknowledging your feelings and giving yourself permission to grieve the loss. Reach out to friends or support networks for comfort and perspective. Remember, closure doesn't always come from the other person. You can create your own closure by accepting what happened and focusing on your own growth. Self-care and self-compassion are key during this time. After experiencing ghosting, it's important to set healthy boundaries in future relationships. Be clear about your expectations and communicate openly. If someone isn't meeting your needs or respecting your boundaries, it's okay to step back. Healthy boundaries protect your emotional well-being and help you build more respectful connections. Remember, you deserve relationships where communication is valued. Every experience, even painful ones like ghosting, can teach us something. Reflect on what you've learned about yourself and your needs and relationships. Use this insight to make better choices in the future. Sometimes being ghosted helps us recognize red flags or patterns we want to avoid. Growth often comes from the most challenging moments, so take this as an opportunity to become stronger and wiser. One way to reduce ghosting in your own life is to practice effective communication. Be honest about your feelings and intentions, even if it feels uncomfortable. Let others know if you need space or if you're no longer interested. Clear communication can prevent misunderstandings and foster healthier relationships. While you can't control others, you can choose to communicate with kindness and respect. If you ever feel the urge to ghost someone, pause and consider your reasons. Are you avoiding discomfort, or is there a better way to handle the situation? Taking a moment to communicate, even briefly, can make a big difference for the other person. Remember, honesty and empathy go a long way. By choosing to communicate, you help create a culture where ghosting becomes less common. Ghosting is a complex behavior rooted in our digital culture, emotional struggles, and social conditioning. While it can be hurtful, understanding the real reasons behind ghosting can help us heal and grow. Remember, you're not alone in this experience. By setting boundaries, communicating openly, and focusing on your own well-being, you can move forward with confidence. Let's strive to build a world where honesty and empathy guide our connections.